Hello. So grab your long band and we're going to pop our feet hip distance apart. So just let the band unravel. Feet into the center. Walk your hands down. So you've got some resistance into the band. Find your posture so you can still roll through the feet, elongate the spine, and find your neutral pelvis, neutral spine. So we don't want to be slouching or sticking the bum out. We want to zip up through the center. Shoulders are down, chin is parallel to the floor. Take a breath in, lift the shoulders forwards, up, back, and round. Breathing out. And again, breathe in. And breathe out. We'll do 4 of these. So that's 3. One more time. And we'll go back the other way. So you can be in charge of how much resistance by walking down the band, or indeed just letting a little bit of that resistance off. Once you've done your 4 circles, slide the shoulders back and down. Keep the arms heavy and down by your sides as you turn the head. Keeping those shoulders pinned by your sides, so try not to twist, otherwise the neck isn't getting quite as good a stretch. And then chin to chest and lift. So the resistance band is just adding a little more resistance, a little more pull into these stretches. If it doesn't feel right, just take the band away. And then come over into side stretch. So can you feel the side of the back and into the waist stretching? And put the head in whatever position is best for you. You can slightly look up if that feels more comfortable. And do 2 on each side. And then we're going to step out with just the 1 foot. So we'll leave 1 foot in the band. You can just slide that foot into the middle of the band. And then the heel can press down into the floor if that feels more secure. Or if you want to work on your balance, lift the foot. And we're going to push toe floor, toe to nose, toe to the floor, pushing into that resistance, rising up through the pelvis. So try not to slouch into that standing leg. Little bend in the standing leg. And then once you've done 6 of those, we're going to see if we can rotate. So the band is giving you resistance to push. Try and keep that resistance on as you push. This is not easy to balance here, go both ways. Woo! It's okay to wobble about, but if you feel a little bit too unstable, just go near a wall and you can just feel a little more secure as you do it. Or as I say, keep the heel down. So as you rotate, the heel can just press down. It gives you a moment to take a breather. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So pop your foot into the band, lift if you can, toe down, toe up, toe down, toe up. Really pedal, so really push the front of the foot down and really lift the toes to the nose. Just watch you don't get a bit tight in the shoulders and remember to breathe. So little bend in the standing leg, rising up through the pelvis, shoulders down, and rotate. Keep breathing. We'll do a few in one direction and then a few in the others. And I'm starting to feel the arms are working, the wrists are working, forearms are working. So it's a little workout for the upper body at the same time. Good. And 2 and 1. Well done. And then pop the band out. Slightly stronger stretch now. We're going to take an overhead stretch. So let the band thread through, but we're nice and wide with the band, not too much resistance on it. And we're going to lift up and then come back. You might want to just start with going back behind the head and then float forwards and wake up the chest. So you can really feel this across your pecs, across the chest muscles. So just see how much the shoulder's happy to allow you to roll backwards. We're breathing in again. We're not slouching, sticking the bum out. We're really rising up, finding that bottom on position so that this really does come from the shoulders and you're not rocking forwards and backwards. Rise up through the crown of the head. Breathe. And try and keep the band like a spirit level. So you want to try and keep the band even. Well done. And 1 more. Now we're going to grab the Pilates ball, so your soft ball, and we're going to put the ball between the knees. We're going to come to some squats. So we want to bring the feet quite close together so you can feel a squeeze on that ball. Again, it shouldn't affect your posture. So just tuck in, feel your tummy and your bottom working, shoulders back and down, hands together, breathe in, and then exhale. Think about the bum dropping down into your squat and then standing. The first couple you might want to just ease in, keeping a little soft grip onto that ball, breathing in and breathing out. And then maybe we can start to think about the bottom going a little bit lower. So the nice thing about the ball is, yes, it's adding a little bit of resistance. You've got to keep a squeeze on that ball, but it's also keeping your toes, ankles, knees, hips all in a lovely aligned position. So it does mean you can safely go a little bit lower, weight in the heels if you wanted to, but just see how you go. We'll just do one more. And rise. Good. Now you wanted to work a bit of that lower body. Jane, you mentioned inner thighs and things. So we're going to add some pulses. So we're going to come down into the squat, come on a little bit onto the toes so that you can squeeze 4 pulses, evenly pressing, and then come back up to posture and then back down again. We're going to do a set of 4. So we've got a little bit more weight in the toes just to keep the knees happy. Squeezing 4 times, rise, and again, down, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Don't be too quick. You've got to get that squeeze action going. And final time, down here, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if you're happy, we're going to do 8 pulses. So we're going to come down, weight slightly on the toes. Here we go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come up. Now I'm looking at you because I want to just keep an eye on alignment and look at the screen, but you want to really keep the neck and spine aligned. So we're going to take the ball between the knees, but we're reaching for the band. I'm going to come back to that narrow position. We're going to have the band out in front of us, not looking out the elbows, and watch the shoulders are nice and down. Get the alignment, feel the tummy and the bottom working. And we're going to go to some resistance band pulls. So you can want the hands just wider than the shoulders. We're going to breathe in to prepare and then exhale, pull, hover and hold. Inhale, slow release. Exhale, pull, hover and hold. Inhale, slow release. Now you've got that feeling of activating through that ball. So I'm squeezing that ball, feet are flat on the floor. I'm relaxing the toes, jaws relaxed, shoulders are down, tummy and bottom working. Just gives you a bit more inner thighs, bottom awareness when you've got that ball between the legs. We've got 6 of those. You can decide how strong by just walking the hands in if you want stronger resistance. And 6, take a breather, go for pulses. So we're going to go out to resistance and we're going to hold out in resistance as we pulse, pulse, pulse. 8, 7, the body is not moving. 6, tummy bone working. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Shrug it out or roll it out. And we'll do that one more time. So we'll come out to resistance, hold it there. Little tiny pulses. 6, 5, 4, 3, stay very stable and isolated through the body, working that core. 2 and 1. You are going to start to feel it in the shoulders and they may come up. So you may just need to do a few of your stretches and rotations. You could do a couple of rounds of that, 8 band pulls followed by 2 sets of 6 pulses. But I shall leave that up to you. And then this is really mean because I'm going to put it all together. So you could fast forward or come with me. So this time we're going to squat down into our squat. We're going to come up onto the toes a little bit, freeing up the heels. And then we're going to pull and squeeze and pull and squeeze. So I won't look forwards. I'm going to keep the neck and spine aligned. So feet are very close together. I'm slightly off the heels. Pull and squeeze that ball. Pull and squeeze that ball. We're going to do that 3 more times, 8 of those. 3, 2, nice and slow and steady, and 1 more time, and 1. It's quite tough, this. Roll it out. We'll do 1 more set. Okay, but this is your inner thighs. You asked for that, Jane. And your tummy's working hard, and you're getting the upper body too. So here we go, slightly on the toes. Here we go, 4, 8, 7, pull and squeeze that ball. 6, 5, 4, stay out in resistance just for a beat. 3, good for balance as well. 2 and 1. Well done. Okay, we're going to roll down. So you can just pop the band and the ball to one side for a moment. Reset your posture, breathe in, and then exhale. Let's take a couple of roll downs. You could just go halfway and have a little hang, a little sway, body weight slightly in the toes, head down, and come back up. Maybe just a halfway drop to begin with. Add some extension. And then perhaps once you've warmed up, you could come down a little bit lower and have a hang, a swing, a sway. Feel that whole posterior chain stretching as you bring the body weight slightly more into the toes, waterfalling the body out of the pelvis, wriggle it out, pedaling, peeling one heel and the other, little walk around the ankles if that feels good. Just kind of go with the flow, little head nods, yeses and nos for the head. Breathe in, exhale. Tummy's engaged just to support the back as you roll back up with more air, more space between the vertebrae, and then come back through to center. So I'll let you roll down on your next roll down, and then we'll walk ourselves out to plank. I know you've been holding this plank, so I shall just get into position. I'll remind you of form, and then I'll let you pause the video. So wrists in line with shoulders, bottom tucked under, ground pushed away. We're not dropping the chest between the shoulder blades, and we're not letting the head drop. We're just pulling the back of the head up. And then from that position, breathe deeply. And I'll let you pause the video for as long as you wish. So coming out of plank, we're going to grab our long band. Now you've got the option with this to support yourself with your ball if you want your corner edge of the ball under your bottom to support you in your curl downs, or indeed you can pop the ball slightly back behind you for something to aim for. It does move around, that is the only thing. Okay, so we're going to make sure our toes, ankles, knees, hips are all in a nice parallel position. We've lifted up through the lower back, shoulders back and down. Our hands are gripping lightly on the band, shoulder just beyond the shoulders. Okay, so to show you from the front. So just wider than the shoulders. Okay, we'll breathe in. Exhale to tilt the pelvis, coming into a C-spine. Relax the shoulders, they're just coming with you. And we're going to add a pull at the bottom. We bring the shape forwards, breathing in, and slide back up, glide back up into your straight spine. Exhale, curling down. Once we've got to that curl down, we can pull on the band and then coming back up. We're going to do that 2 more times. And while you're working on this, you can be working on going to the lowest point you feel safe and comfortable to be at, where you're keeping your form. And that's where the ball can be useful. Maybe you want to aim for sort of mid-back. So you curl down, you aim for that mid-back position. I'm going to rest against that ball a little bit, but I'm very active. I'm not just collapsed, very active, but it's going to teach me to go just that little bit lower, but I feel supported by the ball. That's too low, maybe a little bit higher up. Breathing in, exhaling. Aim for that mid-back position. Keep that C-spine. Don't rest on the ball, just tap it and then come back up. Okay, good. Just take a breather for a second. We'll do a second round. I'll give you a build just because you could repeat what we've just done, but I'll give you one build. So as we curl down, you could stay there and you could do those little pulses that we did in the previous exercise, and then you could come back up. Okay, so either curling up and down in just one band pull and curling back up, or time under tension. Remember to keep breathing, stay down. And 4, 3, 2, 1. We've got 2 more. So you decide, curl down, hold it in the bite point, pull, breathe in, and exhale. Either one band pull or 4, 3. Just make sure you stay down for that little bit longer. These are getting very strong now. And then it's a nice stretch just to hook your feet, and either with bent knees or straight legs, whatever suits you, gently pull the chest towards the thighs and then rounding down into your hamstring stretch. So you should be able to feel a stretch traveling up here. And breathe. Some people prefer to come in and out of it, so straighten the spine. And exhale. Or just sink down and have a breather. Might want to have a little wiggle about. Lovely. And come back up. So good news, we're going to lie down. So come and join me, lying down on the mat. Bring your kit with you. And we're going to go to bridge. We're going to add the ball for that inner thigh activation. So collarbones wide, shoulders are relaxed and down, palms up if you want to nestle the shoulders a bit further down. Ankles and knees are in a straight line, parallel position with the feet. Bring the feet in a little bit so you can feel a squeeze before you even begin on the ball. Breathe in to prepare, and then exhale to tilt the pelvis, press the lower back into the mat. Keep tucking, tucking, tucking as you peel the spine off the mat. Hold and hover and lengthen at the top, breathing in. And then exhale from the top of the spine. Hips are going to reluctantly come down, articulating through the spine. And eventually, the sacrum comes down. You can come to neutral or you can arch and stretch the back, breathing in. And again, exhaling, squeeze on that ball, about 30% squeeze effort. Just keeps everything aligned, creates a little bit more bottom and hamstrings. Inhale and exhaling to travel down. Okay, have a little breather, knees can just rock gently for a moment. So we're going to add to that, we're going to add some pulsing. So we're going to stay up in our lifted bridge, and our objective is to keep a lovely, strong, stable lifted bridge as we add some knee pulses, squeezing that ball nice and evenly with both knees. Sometimes one leg gets a bit dominant. Okay, here we go. So exhale, rolling up. We're going to breathe here at the top. And you may want to bring the feet a little closer and a little closer to each other. Stabilize, lift. I sometimes put my fingers on my hips so I know they're not dropping. And then squeeze, 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 squeeze. Let's do 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll down, take a breath. And let's go again. Rolling up, stay here and breathe. Here we go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, you're going to feel that and roll it down. Well done. If ever that was too much, do the squeezing with your bum down. So you've got options. You can be up or you can have your bum down. And another addition, if the back up is too much, have the legs in tabletop. So you're still having to work your core. Watch you're not arching, tuck in, just neutral curves, natural curves of your back. Hold it there and work the legs. So you've got a few options. And you've got the option to add the band. So maybe do it without the band for a few sessions, and then you've got the option to have the band. So you'd be rolling up, and as you're pulsing on the ball, you're pulling. So it's a squeeze and open. Squeeze and open with your objective, remember, to keep stable. Again, you could do that here. You don't have to do it with your lifted hips. And you can do it here. Okay, so you can have some variety over the weeks. Okay, before we move, we're going to tie ourselves up in a bow. So I want you to bring the legs together, squeeze the calves and the thighs together, and you're going to tie yourself in a bow. If it's easier to sit up and do this, obviously sit up and do it, but just make sure the legs are together because you need some resistance. If you've got a mini band, you can use the mini bands, the little loops. But some people find them a bit uncomfortable. So I found this over the years seems to be better for people. So I've tied it in a bow so it's not a knot. And we're going to come over onto our right hand side. So this is going to add some resistance. Now, we're going to have the elbow under the shoulder if you're happy to be lifted and the ribs need to stay lifted. The elbow is directly underneath my shoulder and feet are in line with bottom. Okay, very easy to slouch and compromise the shoulders to stay lifted. If that's not comfortable, you can use the ball to give yourself a little pillow or your arm or whatever feels good. Okay, stack the hips. Just watch that top hip doesn't fall backwards and the bony hip bones underneath you. Okay, from there, we're going to clam. So we're going to keep the feet together and we're going to open without this top hip moving backwards, which is why I've got my hand on the hip, because we want the hip bone to point forwards. We hinge open and close. We've got 6 of those. That's 3. There's a point of resistance you don't want to drop out of too quickly here. 4, 5. This is hard. And 6. Good. Inner thighs, outer thighs, and hips being strengthened. From there, parallel leg lift. So we simply lift to parallel. Foot, knee, and hip become on the same plane. Okay, so what you don't want to do is have the foot doing all the work, or maybe the knee doing all the work. Okay, that's 3. We've got 3 more. Watch, we haven't started to slouch. 4, 5, slow release, and 6. Now bring the knee in and take the knee back without tipping and arching forward. So you've got to lock in at the core. Bring the knee in and then don't arch. So exhale away, lock in, inhale, bring the knee in. Watch this slouching. And again, bring it in. And 2 more. So I've given you 6 of these. You could always start with 2, 4, and then build up to 6. And 1 more time. 4, 6. Brilliant. Well done. Switch it over. Come over to the other side. Set yourself up, first of all. Elbow under shoulder, or however you want to comfortably be. Hips are stacked, knees are stacked, ankles are stacked. We're going to go to our clams, feet together. Pull open. Keep an eye on this top hip for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Parallel leg. 1, 2. Keep breathing. 3, 4. This is tough. 5. You can always take breaks in between. 6. And then lift knee in and foot behind you. So you keep the 90-degree angle in the knee. Watch we're not collapsing on the shoulder. 2, 3. Keep the connection between the hips and the ribs so we don't over arch. We've got 4 and 5 and 6. Well done, and release. So good news, you are done with that. You don't have to add the band straight away. The band could be something that you build up to. And we're going to come to a cat-cow, but let's just stretch out the hips because you'll definitely be feeling that. So you may want to just take a nice wide child's pose for a moment and maybe have a little bit of a wriggle, just stretching out the hips. Or if you have a glute stretch that you particularly like doing, so it could be something like your figure of 4 stretch, either lifted or just rocking from side to side. So perhaps just pick a stretch for a moment, either child's pose or your glute stretch. And whichever one you're doing, we're just going to breathe. And of course, switch over and do both sides. Good, and 1 more breath. And release. Well done. Come and join me for cat-cow. So popping the wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Push the ground away. Breathe in. Rounding with your exhale. Tucking everything up and in. And then inhaling for this lovely spine articulation. Finding the 2 extremes. Separating the shoulder blades. Really tucking the bum under. Stretching the neck. And reverse it. As you come through to neutral, tucking the toes, option to lift to down dog. You could, of course, do another plank if you fancied. Otherwise, stretch out in down dog. And then walk the hands to the feet or the feet to the hands. Bum up, head down for roll up. Inhale and exhale. Bit of tummy there to support the journey up. And I'll meet you at the top. Good. And then pop the kit to one side. It's up to you if you wanted to incorporate some of the other moves we were doing in the previous workout. So you could do your lunges, stepping one leg forwards, and then both knees bend. Keep creating your 290-degree positions. If you wanted to build on this, you could add a twist. So as you come down, stay down and twist over the bent leg. Come back up and again, bend both knees, keep the knee and ankle tracking and the hip and knee tracking at the back, and then hold there to rotate. Okay, step the other foot forwards and same thing, bend both knees, an option to twist over the bent leg, come back through, up, down, keep the hips level, pointing forwards, twist, and one more time, down and twist, back to center, and rise. Good. And we'll take a stretch here, so roll out the shoulders. Nice big breaths. And the other way. Take the arms forwards, twist, breathing in. Nice big 180 reach if you can, twist the other way. And then reach to the ceiling, breathing in. Looking down as you breathe out. One more time, breathe in. And breathe out. And you are all done, well done.